Imagine you're in the afterlife. You are wandering in a dark place that is no longer Earth. As you are walking, you see a man. As you get closer, you notice his appearance. His skin is that of a rotting corpse, and he has the head of a dog. Congratulations, you just met the Egyptian god Anubis. Today, I want to awaken for you the importance of the Egyptian god Anubis. I will do that by telling you who he is, by telling you what his job is, and by telling you how he helps people. So firstly, Anubis is an Egyptian god. He's often depicted with the head of a jackal. As you can see in these pictures, right here, he has the decaying, rotting skin color of a corpse, and he has the head of a jackal. This is a more recent picture, and then right here, I put up one from ancient hieroglyphs in ancient Egypt. So from a mythology book, Anubis was that canine dog of the dead, often depicted as a jackal-headed man. In ancient Egypt, they used animals as symbols for gods, so anytime you saw an animal, that meant that a god was watching over you. So many of you know that, like I've been saying, that jackals are dogs, but I don't think a lot of you know what they look like. So here is a jackal right here. It's sort of like a fox, coyote kind of looking weird dog. And then here's a statue showing how they depicted the jackals. There. So, since animals were depicted as the gods, in ancient Egypt, jackals would they would uncover the dead and eat them. So that is why people would communicate that with Anubis, because they would think that he's eating the souls of the dead people that were not buried properly. And that's how he got his nickname, the Eater of Souls. Which brings me to my second point about his job. So Anubis is the god of embalming and mummification, and he's also the god of guiding lost souls to the underworld, to Osiris. The encyclopedia states that Osiris succeeded Ra as king of the earth, helped by Isis, his sister wife. Set, however, hated his brother and killed him. Isis then embalmed her husband's body with the help of Anubis, who then became the god of embalming. So I'm going to explain this because it probably sounds a little bit confusing to you. Anubis helped Isis, who was Osiris's wife, but in ancient Egypt, they performed incest. So Osiris and Isis were brother and sister, so that's why it says sister wife. And Isis, being so distraught over the death of her husband, asked and pleaded and begged for Anubis to help her. After Anubis agreed, he did help her embalm, which means just mummifying the body of Osiris, which Osiris became the first mummy. So Anubis actually created mummies, and that's why we have the tradition in ancient Egypt that we're learning about of the mummification of mummies. And his other job was guiding lost souls. So once they were guided to the afterlife, to Osiris, their souls were weighed. So there's a feather and then their heart right there. And this just overall helped people understand death better, which brings me to my last point and how he helps people. So Anubis was just a symbol of death. He would help people understand and recognize what that was, and he brought them comfort. And he's also inspiration to many people today. So here's just statues and monuments that were built honoring Anubis, and then today how he still helps and inspires people. Here's a recent drawing done, and it's depicting Anubis carrying the soul of a dead child. So it just kind of brings people comfort in knowing that he is there watching over them. All in all, Anubis just is important because he mummifies people, he helps them, and just overall who he is.
Really?
It's gonna see, yeah. Yeah, it's more of a cat. I think there is a or we like, yeah, all the designs are. Those are common ones. And if you clown it, that clown there, right? That clown there. Yeah.
On the movie or on series?
Series. Also, you read this game, also series.
By Rick Vernon. It's based on Digital Village and
What is the feather mean? The
The
feather.
feather, so if your heart's heavier than the feather, then that means you don't get into the afterlife. It means like your soul's very bad. You can't get in.
Kimberly, you here?
Yeah.
What did you think?
I like the attention getter. It was very like suspenseful and got my attention. I didn't really hear a preview. I don't know if you said it, but I didn't hear one. It was an interesting topic, one that I've never like really heard about. And then it was a good delivery, but at some point I wish you would have talked louder to all of us and to clear.
Okay. I like the visualization that you have at the beginning. It's a bit odd, but it does make a transition to the topic relatively clearly. It could be a little bit more engaging in the presentation, although I thought that you had some language in there that suggested that it was going to be that way. I didn't think there was as much follow through. Clear statement of what your goal is. There's a setup of the structure in the speech, so that was pretty easy to follow. The references, you make a couple of references, excuse me. There's apparently a mythology book that you refer to, and then there's an encyclopedia reference that you give us, and those are a little bit vague in the references. I think you need to be more specific. I did find it odd that sometimes it sounded like you were talking about this as if it's mythology, and other times you were talking about it as if it was history, and I'm not sure that there is a separation between the two. I think there needs to be a little bit more explanation about how these two things are being conflated with one another. The visualization of the jackal is okay. It's probably necessary in that situation. I think you need to have a little bit more information about the idea of Anubis helping people. That last illustration that you have it's a picture. It makes it look like, who still believes in these gods? Who still is imagining that Anubis is helping the dying child of a couple in modern day America move to the afterlife? I'm not exactly sure that's a kind of a metaphorical visualization of what's going on, and you make it sound like and that's what happens. And frankly, I think that's a little odd that it comes across that way. The visuals are okay. Like I said, back and forth we get some of these things and make it sound like we actually had a picture of Anubis as opposed to a visualization of Anubis, and that's what we're getting, our visualizations. And like you said, one of the visualizations was from hieroglyphics, one's a statue that's created. Some of them are modern visualizations that people are doing because they are intrigued by the mythology that's going on there. Maybe it's a character that gets used in some contemporary fiction also. You have to ask Mala. I'm sure that Anubis probably appears in some video game somewhere.
He does.
Yeah, there you go. So there. I think we could get a little bit of reference to that too. Then that would make it a little bit more intriguing. Speech is a little bit short, and it comes up abrupt. I mean, it just feels like you stopped, and I'm going, well, I didn't even realize that you were done. Because I thought there was going to be more that was going on, and there wasn't. So it felt a little bit underdeveloped. Okay, thank you.